Well, hello everybody, it is I, Jeff the Gamer, and I'm going to be catching you guys up as to what I've been up to for the past bit on the MistCraft server. I first began like you would start all Minecraft worlds, by spawning in the middle of the night, running for your life, and then waiting for daytime. Come morning time, I started chopping down some trees and killing some fish. And then I wandered off to start making my base. Then I discovered crimsite, which you can crush using a crushing wheel into iron. And thus I started digging until I obtained a lot of crimsite, filling up my entire inventory. Now, naturally, I did all this forgetting that in order to convert crimsite to iron, I need crushing wheels, which require these mechanical crafters, which require these electron tubes, which requires polished rose quartz, which requires redstone. Which is fun and all, except for the fact that redstone requires an iron pickaxe to mine. So I ended up borrowing use of a crushing wheel near spawn, which gave me some crushed iron ore, which you can convert into iron. And so I took this iron and I went off into the distance and started setting up shop on an island. Now, I didn't go too far from spawn because I don't like going too far from spawn just in general. But one important thing about this is that we have access to hemalurgy, which means that we have access to these magical spikes, which give abilities. But because I set up pretty close to spawn, I don't have the opportunity to go super far out to try to find new spikes. However, I wanted to build up a base, so I was not too concerned about finding spikes, and I also knew that there were people on the server who had a ridiculous amount of spikes, so therefore, I wanted to buy spikes from them instead of finding new ones to feed into the server's economy. And it was while I was preparing the crushing wheel crafting process, was that I found chocolate. Yes. So the create mod adds in liquid chocolate. However, it also adds in a thing called hose pulleys, which, if you were to lower them down, these hand pulleys can be used to fill and drain large volumes of liquid by using different kinetic sources. However, there's another catch about this, is that if a hose pulley is being used to drain an area over 10,000 blocks large, it'll be considered to be an infinite source, meaning that it also applies to chocolate. And I'm set up at an island. Thus became my incredibly fun plan to replace an entire ocean with chocolate because I lived on an island, so why not? Now, in order to do this, I first need to get a blaze burner, which, as you can see, you need to have a blaze in it. So, I found a blaze, and then I captured it to exploit it for personal reasons. Don't think about that too much. And then found some cocoa beans and sugar near spawn, which is the ingredients you need to make chocolate, as well as some milk, but that was like super trivial to get en masse. However, because I needed 10,000 buckets of chocolate, and if you look here, each recipe of chocolate gives you 250 megabytes, which is a quarter of a bucket. That means that I need 40,000 batches of chocolate in order to fill up this ocean, which means that I created a pretty large sugarcane and a pretty large cocoa bean farm. However, the problem is that you know, those farms are kind of slow. And oh yeah, and in case you're wondering about the milk, don't think about what happened to the one cow who supplied over 40,000 buckets of milk. I've also gained some help from other people, such as Aelin, who decided to flex on me for an hour before giving me access to Bendalloy spikes. Well, Bendalloy spike. And the power of Bendalloy is that you can use it to speed up time around you briefly, meaning that if I use it on crops, I now have a crop fertilizer. And then, after a lot of time, I finally did it. All of my sugar cane and cocoa bean farming had turned to everything. It was a total of over 10,000 blocks of chocolate, and it didn't function as an infinite source. So I actually have to do normal Minecraft stuff now, which the first thing that I'm doing is I'm turning all of the chocolate into chocolate bars so I can actually have food. My 61 pieces of bread are only gonna last for so long. I guess I'm gonna finish it in here because there's a bunch of mobs out there. But, so this means that I've actually now got to do somewhat normal Minecraft stuff as compared to the other people who have, you know, been doing normal Minecraft stuff the entire time. Like finding spikes, getting diamonds, etc. So that about catches us up till about now. So right now the end has been reset pretty recently, within the past like 2 weeks, which means that I may be able to get spikes without paying a ridiculous amount. And I also have updated to 1.18.2, which means there's a lot of new things for the mods. That may be the reason why the chocolate is not functioning as an infinite source. I don't know. If you guys can think of a reason why this entire area containing 10,000 blocks of chocolate does not work, I need to know the answers, because I want to have infinite chocolate. However, in our mod updating, we also added in something new and fancy called hex casting. Now, I don't know much about this, but I do know is that it allows you to draw shapes. And those shapes allow you to cast spells. So it's a magic mod, in which it's pretty much all mana weaving. That sounds right up my alley.